All right, hey folks, we're off to we're starting later than we usually do, but I have the day off to do doctor's stuff, so slept in a little bit, and we're gonna gear up and make some stuff happen. So give me a second here to get myself situated, and we'll play around for a couple hours. So my windows are off a little bit over here. I'm gonna fix up my screen there real quick, and I need to check to see if we're live and how my volume is sitting on the page. So give me a second here while I listen to myself. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, cool. And click. Doing the social media posts real quick. We're almost done. So allow me to amuse you with my origin story while I press some buttons, and we'll get started here. So my name is Phil Kearney. What's up? I create role-playing games, I illustrate them, I publish them online, and we're creating an adventure for the Eberron campaign setting in Dungeons & Dragons. So I've been a DM since 1987. I've been a freelance illustrator since 1999. I've been an Eberron enthusiast since 2004, and I've been creating content on DMsGuild for D&D since 2018, but I have not done anything to pay back to the Eberron campaign world. So I'm creating this adventure, Crystals of Mabar, that you can see here on the cover. It's for 7th and 8th level characters. You're fighting necromancers in the Carnwood of Carnath on Corvair rescue local villagers from undead threats. Classic stuff, fun times, and it sets you up to have a bastion and domain over the Carnwood and the Southern Plains. So let me rearrange my screen here real quick, and we'll just close off the intro here and say, if you think today's cool, I'm here 9 times per week. Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon for notifications of when we're live in the future. Here's an entire playlist of all 465 episodes of me creating content for this adventure, including all the maps, tokens, illustrations, some page layout, design work, and a lot of philosophy that went into the game system. If you want a mega long study hall deep dive, you're welcome to check this out and see how it's evolved over time. Here's a bunch of books I've already created on the DMsGuild. They all have free preview. Check them out, read them cover to cover. If you think they're cool and they add to your own games, consider making a purchase to support similar behavior in the future, because we got a lot of other books that we're creating. So this is the book cover we created back around episode 40 something. You can check it out. This is about what it would look like on the DMsGuild front, like store rack. When you check it out, you click into it to find out more about it. And then on the preview, on the product page, it has a click for free preview or full preview. FULL, full preview. Click that and it'll open up the whole book for you to read. It's got obviously tons of tokens and maps and assets for you to use, not only in this adventure but to build like tables with silverware and stuff like that. It's the whole thing. It's far more than just buying. It's a kit. It's an adventure toolkit. Obviously, it looks like a demon's face from afar, and with the Eye of Mabar in the center. And then you zoom in, you can see it's composed of different elements and some symbolic stuff that is representative of things that happen in the adventure. So, good times. But I kind of baited you guys. Here, let's click this out of the way. What we need to work on today is the regional map that's described here in the intro. The first section of this book is getting pretty close to being done. Here's the book cover. I need to put my my symbol in here, and then all my social media links down here. But otherwise, the intro page and table of content is done. I'll have to hook up all the hyperlinks to that once we get up and running. Page 2 here is the adventure background, and I actually want to drop some labels in these separate paragraphs, because this talks about the artifact, this talks about the necromancers, this talks about the ritual, and this talks about the betrayal of the artifact upon the necromancers performing the ritual. So I'm going to put little subtitle labels here separating these into separate ideas, because otherwise it just looks like a big chunk of text to read through, and it's a little mealy, I think. But I happen to have the space on the page to add in headers for each of these paragraphs. So I decided that that'd be a good idea. And so that's going to shift the actual blank space that's open on the page for me to drop the regional map into. So I want to do that and rebuild it. But I noticed before we can get to that, I wanted to finish up this camping illustration that we've been working on, because although I'm happy with the tents and the front foliage and the characters gathered around it, and it's pretty chillax, I don't like how bland the background. That doesn't look like much of a forest, so I need to add density to the forest, and I forgot to do that on Saturday when I was working on this. So, alas, I said this picture would be done today and we'd move on to the next thing. I am now realizing I am a filthy pig liar, and I need to actually finish this up. But luckily I can likely get away with. Yeah, I can get away with. I just got to do some background stuff. So. Let's see if I can create a decent background. I'm going to peel open this layer here. That's at a 60% opacity. So let's take the... Yeah, let's take that. I can hear myself a little bit more than I want to. I'm going to adjust my volume again here real quick. Give me a second here. We're going to go there. Oh, yeah, it is tapped up a little bit more than it needs to be. I can drop that down. There, I can't hear myself anymore. So hopefully the channel won't die. And I become aware of it and get things up and running again. But normally I stream from about 6:30 till 8 o'clock. I've got a timer going, 20-minute marker. It's almost 7 o'clock here, so I had a late start. So I'm going to run over. I'll probably go till 9 o'clock. I stream game design Mondays and Thursday nights, as well as Monday and Thursday night, and Tuesday and Friday lunch. And we're working right now on the color mana conversions using the color mana spell point variant rules that I created on DMsGuild that are linked down below. We're currently working our way through the Druid and Cleric and Bard full casting classes converted into 2024 using the color magic system instead of the spell slots and 8 schools of ancient magic. It's a major project, and there's multiple books that I've already published, but now I'm taking all those books and I'm rebuilding them to use the 2024 rules, since this is now the eternal set, the eternal rules. I want them to be relevant, and so we did them back in 2018, the first books that I created, and now I want to update them with the new eternal 2024 rules. We'll see if that's true or not, like in 10 years. But I don't mind rebuilding these books. I've got a lot of stuff on my plate that I could be doing. But color mana is what got me into this in the first place. That was a whole motivation for me to start creating books in the first place, was when the Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica was published in 2016. I thought that finally Wizards, owning both Magic the Gathering and Dungeons and Dragons, was finally going to create official spellcasting using the color mana system. And when they didn't, I'm like, well, this was like, if they were ever going to do it, this is it. And they didn't. So it's up to me now. It's up to somebody. And since I have an idea, I may as well try. And I was already looking to make books anyway, because as a freelance illustrator, globalization and AI was, honestly, AI is super new, but it proves to be true that, me having working as a freelancer means that you have to find somebody to hire you to make art, and then when you do, it may or may not be something you actually want to do. Like, you can make a living. You can't do it anymore, but you used to be able to make a living drawing cherries and lemons and little tokens for digital slot machines. It's crushing work. Like, there's no soul to it at all. It's just, red button, blue button, green button, whatever. You're creating digital assets that get fed into a digital slot machine for online gambling. And they're always making new machines to drag somebody's new interest. You can make a living off of that. but it's not creative at all, right? It's just manufacturing work. That's the kind of stuff that you would anticipate AI being used to chew up and take away. So what is left to actually have art for? Well, if you're going to do books and stuff, it's the same thing. The same problem is that when you get hired by somebody else, you are their manufacturing facility for images that they want, not necessarily what you want. So to be able to make the money that you want. Okay, so with the globalization of freelance illustrations through digital media and broadband internet becoming available throughout the world, you're competing. People in America are now competing on a global scale with people that have like a fifth of their living expenses, like dealing with other countries that don't have the same cost of living, but have now the same level of technology to be able to compete in that space. So you quickly get undercut in an open market where everyone can compete with the same skill set and the same access. That is an excellent demonstration of globalization, the best I've ever seen. And it took me out of the market. So to stay competitive, you have to find clients that are willing to pay American wages for global work, and that takes you into a niche audience of, I can't get anyone else to make this art. It's because your art is creepy, and your requests are creepy, and I had to bail from that. So I'm like, I love doing artwork. I love the fantasy genre. This was my dream since I was 12 to do this, and I am. So what do I do? And that's what led me to creating my own books, so that I could become my own art director. And instead of looking at the time spent in making art as a liability, it's the hours I have to invest to create the art is a loss to my company at whatever rate I decide to book it as far as like labor costs. But if I'm making a book, then I can just, how about let's go on stream and do all the art online and talk about the book and show the book. How about inviting people into the process and make books. So this is where I am now. I've gotten to the point. It's like, well, I can just stream this stuff. Let's do that. So now, to me, it really doesn't matter how long it takes. I mean, obviously, I want the books made because I got so many ideas that I got to get the books off of the rack. I got to get them out there so I can work on the next thing, right? Like, there's no end to how many books like I can create, and all the offshooting content and derivative content that gets created as a result of the ideas that are in the book. It just cascades through new options and opening up new paths and new ways to tell stories, and it's endless. It's endless. It's truly endless. So I have to step back from the mentality of I have to get the next book out. I have instead adopt an attitude of every book that I build is leading to another type of book, to another type of book, to another type of book. And if I'm going to do this for the next 10, 20 years, it's just I'm going to roll from book to book. And it's just going to be an ongoing, it's just an ongoing stream of creation. And hopefully this is something that I can sustain over time, and it stays in place, and I just continue doing this, and I get better at it. And I can bring you all further into the process, and maybe we get into doing Kickstarters and start building a community around just an endless array of conceptual books that utilize game mechanics that I find enjoyable to run as a DM. That since I playtest all the stuff that I put out, it's I build the books, and then I run the thing, and it works, and then we come up with new ideas, and we pull those together, and we run those, and etc. 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 That's the thought. Yes, I am yammering. It was my day off. I have no stress in my system. I'm well relaxed. I slept good. I'm going to be working on the druid subclasses. I think, yeah, we still have a few subclasses to finish from 2014 for the druid, and so we've built out, we've rebuilt the chassis, or the scaffold, the 2014 scaffold for all of the all 13 D&D classes, and we're just finishing up now the subclasses, the 2014 subclasses for each class that did not get picked up and added to the 2024 Player's Handbook, the Forsaken subclasses, as it were. And I'm not intending to include each of those in the Color Mana spellbook that we're rebuilding, because Wizards will probably republish a slew of them eventually, and I don't want to bloat the book, the core book. I want the core book to address stuff in the Player's Handbook. And then we'll have like a Ravnica expansion, a Strixhaven expansion, a Theros expansion as separate campaign ideas. I don't know. Maybe I'll include a chapter on Theros, Strixhaven, and Ravnica, since those are already published. That makes sense. I can add a chapter each, and then I can deep dive each of them as separate separate supplements. And then if new books come out, like God, it would be amazing, like to have like Zendikar, or whatever they renamed Kalishtar to be. So, no, wait, hold on, that's a race. What am I thinking of? Why am I blanking the name? Why am I screwing that name up? Magic the Gathering, MTG, Kaladesh. Thank you, God. Kaladesh is like the Artificer world in Magic the Gathering. That and Zendikar, I think, are the two worlds of Magic the Gathering that I would like to see in 5e, and they're the two least likely to occur. Because Kaladesh is kind of like Eberron already. Like it's too Eberronish for them to want to create it as a separate IP, and Zendikar doesn't have a stable map. Like the lands shift and move, which is cool, and it really jives with my scaling map concepts of taking blocks of land that are like in a 10-mile area and then having them be able to move across a larger map environment. That's a very Phil Kearney design sort of idea to explore for a campaign world. I've explored ideas like that in the past already, and so I think I have mechanical chops to actually build a world, like to build functioning, reasonable game mechanics like that, to have a shifting environmental map. It's like I'm really good at building small chunks of space and having them be able to be transitional movement stuff, etc. Blah. I could do that. But just because I can do it. Doesn't mean that Wizards would want to invest time in doing it. That's like the Spelljammer Combat and Exploration book. They could have made an effective 5e combat system. They just didn't want to bother. It wasn't important for the type of stories that they want for the material. They weren't planning on making a bunch of Spelljammer adventures. They made one Spelljammer adventure as basically an explanation of how the campaign works and just basically lock the IP down. They made a meh 5e translation. So, but that allowed me the opportunity to do a real deep dive into here's all the stuff that you're asking about. Here's self-consistent. Here's the Spelljammer Combat and Exploration is a book of consistent answers to provide enough base physics for you to extract your own conclusions about the game, like how you want to run the game. That's ultimately the best tool that I can provide, is to empower people to be able to figure out how to like have enough framework in something to be able to create their own answers. Whether they like the answers that I come up with or understand understand the format that I'm using to extrapolate their own ideas from it and to really make it their own. Yeah, I've got the yammers going on today, guys. We're in rare form today. Who knows where we're going to get led to in the next couple hours, you know? Almost good with the trunks. We'll probably be doing this for like another 20 minutes and we'll probably be done. I kind of want to thin these out. Like I'm going to want to drop the opacity on some of these as we fade. Let's push this up to here. Feel like looking to check. Okay, cool. That's an enclosed environment. We can just drop that in like that. We can take all of this and drop this down to like 30, 40%. That feels good. And then these can be 60%. And those are good at 100%. Yeah, and this is off, so I'm going to have to drop in lights on all of those, but that feels decent. Let's take this to 50 instead. $50. 65, 80, and then 100. That feels good. And then this one will be $95. There. Okay, so what I need to do is then go like that. Then create a background layer. That is this colored. There. Now it is merged. Get rid of that one. Yeah, this is all coming along according to plan. We're doing good. There. 95% up front, 80% mid, 65, 50. That one is good. Put in the background, add this back in. Merge down. Wait, something's off. There we are. Okay. Merge down. This one. Extra layer. Drop it in behind. Conceal. Return. Merge down. Very good. Yeah, this final one here, so we'll highlight that. Add to it. Conceal. Add. Merge. Guck. But there. Yeah, we can fill that all in. Okay, cool. So that's all in place. Let's get these out of the way. That's good. Add in the backdrop. Very good. What purpose does this serve? See, nothing highlighted, so it serves no purpose. Get rid of that. Back foliage, trunks, foliage, hedge. Good. All right, we're in a good space. Continue to move. Backdrop, color, splash. Let's push that down into the hedges so we don't have any gap. Thank you. Thank you. Very good. Seal that up. Let's go back to here. Let's add in this in. We're gonna have to clean up this this edge here, but that won't be much of an issue. I'm just gonna have to. I just have to basically skip a leaf brush across the base here to even it out. This top bit here doesn't matter because that's concealed by the foreground foliage. Yeah, 100%. What kind of brush am I using? Good. I'm really thinking about the Spell Point Sorcerers supplement and the Bashing campaign supplement. I'm feeling the urge to move forward in production with those two books first, and let the color, like the rest of the color mana books, slow burn in. But to make the Bashing campaign the next primary project, to get that one published. I know that Martial Powers is coming along, and that's going to be. So what we're going to end up doing then is publish the Bashing campaign, and then the Martial Powers book. Those will be my next two significant projects that I'll complete. And while I'm working on that, my side projects, which I'll also have the freedom to paint on and do layouts and do whatever I want with along the way, will be all the color mana books, the core mechanics, the Spell Point Sorcerer, the Spell Point Artificer, Knights and Tricksters, Guildmaster's Guide, the Ravnica stuff, the Strixhaven stuff, all those little side pieces. I can just work on those. I won't have any obligations to anyone to get anything done, so I can work on all of them until I feel like they're good to go. This Eberron project, I hired Stuart Braz and Andy Headley, the old goat, to help me in building this book as a collaboration project, and I have just been absolutely dragging my ass on this book for fucking ever. And it's a big project. It really is a big project. So they've been very gracious and generous and patient with me producing it. But this is my primary project. Once this is completed, I don't have any obligations to anyone anymore, and I have the freedom to push whatever book any day that I want. Like I can be doing artwork for 4 or 5 different books at the same time in the morning, like one book a week or whatever, if I want to. And I can start freely mixing day and night with different, like, I think I like keeping artwork in the morning like this, but I can I also won't be restricted to like what books I work on or how far along I move each one of them in the evening. So the mornings I find is fun for artwork, and it helps create, like I said, it helps satisfy that creative urge so that I can focus honorably on my day job without pining for when do I get to do artwork, when do I get to create content. It's I have this morning shift to be able to do that, and I'm proud and thankful for that opportunity and relationship I have. Let's add in this and this and this, this and this there. Decent density. It's decent density. I do not begrudge that. I need to find. Yeah, let's go with this brush. Let's see how this one shakes out. Not bad. Subtle. I think it helps. And then we're almost done, and we'll move on to the maps. So we had a kind of stand-in regional map, but I'm not very happy with it. I think it could be better. So I want to. I think it needs to be better. Let's say that. That sounds better. And like I was saying, since we actually know, like, that's why the layouts are so important to get done first. So I know exactly how much space do I have to mess with, and I absolutely love that I have the power to be able to freely add text and change things as needed to not only make it fit space, but to also just create a better narrative experience for whoever's reading it. I just love that I can just do this. This is so awesome. What a dream. I really am fortunate to have not had an interest in creating books until I'd already gotten good enough as an artist to be able to illustrate those books. It's just such an amazing blessing in my life. Oh yeah, I didn't finish this guy's spear tip. Jesus. Dropping shit everywhere. Okay, we'll have to work on the spear as well, I guess. Sorry. A little extra time needed to be added in there. And I need to do a little bit of tree cleanup along the branches here. They're a little sloppy. Then we'll get the map going. So maybe 40 minutes. We'll get to it. We'll get going, I swear. I love that. God, I love that. I love it. I just love it. Let's add just a little bit of goodness. Gotta add a little bit of organic. To those trees. Like that. Nope, that doesn't work. There we go. That feels pretty good. Thicken that up a bit. Whenever you add a branch, you have to thicken the trunk a little bit. And the branches can't be significant in size compared to the trunk. You have to mind your ratios. It's important so that your trees don't look weird. There, those look pretty good. Bit of diversity, some consistency, but enough variability to be interesting. Sticking that one up a little bit here. When you're adding density to the trunk, you want to think about how is it leveraging and bowing the trunk in general. Like this offshoot branch here is adding weight over here, so I need to. That's where it's going to load bear. That's what I'm looking for. That's the angle that's going to allow it to be able to hold that. There, that feels pretty good. Yeah, we can be like that. We can merge this down, blip, and then this layer. Let's first check to see if anything needs to get cleaned up on it. That looks pretty good. Uh-oh, I just locked up. I have to hit save. Take a sip. I have to close that down. Here's the map that I was originally working on. I'm not 100% happy with it, so we're going to keep working. Save changes? I don't think so. No. Let's reopen what we were just working on. Yeah, this is the right place. I don't have my coffee, so I realized I've left my coffee by the coffee machine, and it's the coffee machine sighing at me. When will my friend remember? So I gotta go fetch some coffee here real quick. While I'm at it, I'm gonna refill my water glass. So give me a second here while I'm doing that. So we're gonna be back around 5 o'clock ish. I'm having blood work at 3, and assuming that appointment is done by 4, I should be able to be back in the saddle here by 5 to start up working on druids and clerics. But in case, but I typically I can start as late as 6 o'clock and still feel okay about my day. So we'll see when I actually get started. But my intention is to start around 5 and go till 8 and then log off and then continue working on this. But I don't know specifically how my time is going to shake out. We just gotta do some of this. That feels off somehow. Let's take that away. Let's try this. Let's try this again. Maybe we have a bend here, and this works like this. We can then go like that, and then we can go like this. Yeah. There we go. Just keep getting stuff done every day, and eventually we run out of days to do stuff. Or we run out of days needed to do stuff. Hopefully I'll still be here. Hopefully I'm still gonna be here. But yeah, and like we finish the thing and then we just move on to the next thing. It's just super easy. Let's get rid of that. Let's bring this in here from there and then push that from there. Like that. Yeah, that feels pretty good. That one is done. This one. I think I just need to clean up the roughness on this. This is where I need to be. Yeah, see, this is crappy. This is just unfinished work here. That's just the story of how my art goes. I try to finish a piece, and then I look for what did I forget to do. Because that tends to be the course. Like, I think I'm done. It's like, wait a second. If this is going to be like a professional polished piece, like, this is crap, and this is crap, and this is crap, and fix your shit. I like this little barb here, though. This one looks pretty good. Like, that's off. And that branch is weird. Let's fix that. See, this stuff doesn't take long. It's just got to get done. And then we'll fix the spirit. We'll fix this back tray line. Get it into place. Probably add in some more textured leafage back there in another layer. Brr. Just to add a little bit more density to where we're at. There we go. Now we're here, and this obviously needs to get fixed. How is this not? Hold on. Okay, that's at 100%. That's at 100. That's at 100. That's at 100. So why is this? Why is this happening? See, that's lighter. Even though I'm sampling off of this, it's coming through as lighter. I don't understand why that would be the case. Let's see if this works. It's just too dark. Thank you, Timely Timer. 20-minute timer, making sure I don't dive into any rabbit hole too deeply. Good looking tree. Please stop. I don't know what I just did. Thank you. What is happening? There we go. All right, so you're on tap next. You're a good looking tree. You still need some work. Thank you. That's some weirdness going on in here. I'm gonna have to figure that out. All right, that layer is done. Good. Let's fix this guy here. Clean up the edges along here. God, look at that. All that crap. Yeah, sculpt that into something that looks good. I know you have like this little stripe here. That's not finished work. The only problem I think I have with the work that I produce for these books is that I make them into shapes that fit the page. I don't have necessarily like conforming conforming spaces, right? Like it fits whatever space I need, and that might be a weird shape that isn't suitable for just stock art. So for me to go in and make it stock art, I have to reshape it so it fits a more traditional format. And that's just work that I don't want to do. So a lot of the stuff that I make could realistically be stock art, but I just don't want to go in and reformat them so they fit a traditional shape, and so it becomes unique art to the book, but doesn't serve any function outside of that. And I think if I was trying to run a real business, I would figure out a way for me to find the joy in rebuilding pieces that I've done to become stock art. And so that's technically part of Project 2025. Is to get me to a place where I am capable of taking art that I've done and making it viable for stock art, and then to post it so that I can make use of the Spotify stuff that, or the Shopify option that I have now on YouTube to be able to promote shit for sale and make a little stock art marketplace and have little buttons down below. It's like, hey, check this art out. Want to support the stream? Buy some of my art. So let's get this right. This all feels good. That feels pretty good. Now let's work on this smudge layer inside of here. I should switch to the guitar pick, I think. Add a bit of density to that. There we go. There. Still floating around in chess. I'm still ranking on chess.com. I'm still ranking around 750. And I say it that way because when I'm against opponents that are below 750, I expect to beat them. But when their score's above 750, it's a crapshoot. I don't know if I'm going to be able to, like, they're going to use something like in the 750, below 750. I understand what strategies they're using, the openings that they use I'm familiar with. There's no surprises to me, and generally I can expect them to make more mistakes than I do, and I'll be able to beat 750. That's pretty reliable at this point. I know I'm a 750 player. Once I get beyond 750, there's potential for openings I'm not familiar with, or for them to potentially make less mistakes than me. So obviously I'm like around 750 in my rating, and that's okay. It's not. I want to get to 2,000. If I became a 2,000 ranked chess player, I would be happy to start going to like in-person tournaments and try to increase my skill there. I think chess can be a means of me forming a pathway for me to not be completely isolated as I age, the risk of getting cut off from society and having people invested in me, so that like if I have a heart attack, someone comes around and checks on me. You have to have friends. If you don't have family, you have to have friends, and I don't have much family, and I'm going to have less and less in time. So I need to get into a place where I have real life people that we can look out for each other. It's old and alone is scary. And I'm only 50 right now, and I'm not alone, but at some point I'm going to be. And I need to take steps to make sure that if I die at my computer, it's not going to get discovered because of the smell. Dark thoughts today, huh, folks? That's scary shit, though, man. I think I'm close to done with this. Those trunks look pretty good. Why are we looking at foliage up here? Foliage looking pretty good. %, 100%. Let's disable. Let's see if I can find a. There we go. I'm going to retouch this. Let's take it on back now a little bit. Bring it back in. A little bit larger pixel size. Just want to add a little bit more noise along that tree line so that there's less disconnected branch twigs, more clumped. And using this randomizer is pretty good at that. That should do the trick. There we go. That feels pretty good. What? Oh, fucking A. You gotta go, buddy. Thank you. There we go. All right. That's pretty good. We do need to resolve that spear. So let's go back into the guard. Head. Body. Shump. Spear. There it is. Just never finished it. Height is good. Base is good. Yeah, that's the outline. Line. And then something else. Highlight. Outline. There we go. Outline is good. 8 o'clock. Time to rock. We're going into bonus time, folks, because it's my day off. Hold on real quick. Cool. All right, we're looking good. I'm going to have a sip of coffee here before we continue. So yeah, we'll stick around for a while. We'll definitely be able to start working on maps today. Just finish up the spear real quick, and then we'll move on. Let's switch to a normal brush. Let's do this. Paste, free transform, flip horizontal. Merge. transform. Let's distort this a touch. I want to just restate real quick how much I love that javelins have the topple mastery, so that you can knock things out of the sky. That's so cool, and I like how much 5e has kind of leaned more into things. Like, there's a lot less. It seems there's less stuff that has hover now in 2.4 than it had in 15 and 14. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe it's always been that way, but I always felt that it seems like dragons and things. I can swear that dragons had hover in the earlier edition, or in the 2014 version. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Thank you, Timely Timer. Having more things with the top. I gotta say, what I love about the martial power system that we've been developing is decoupling power masteries from weapons. Each weapon, like a javelin, for instance, has a topple mastery. With the martial power system, the javelin still has the topple mastery. But when your character has the options of preparing or learning masteries, it's not with a specific. It's not when a weapon allows me to topple, I can use the topple mastery. That's like double charging you, right? Like, the weapon already has only one mastery, so you have to weapon juggle. You can't use a universal weapon to do all the things that you want, and you have to spend a prepared thing to. You have to choose an option to be able to topple if I'm using that weapon. The martial power system decouples those things so that if, like the javelin, if it has topple, great, go ahead and use topple with it. If you're proficient with the weapon and you're a martial character, you automatically know the mastery associated with the weapon. That kind of makes up a little bit for like the cantrips that casters have. So casters get a number of cantrips that they just know on top of all their fucking spells. So the mastery system that we've implemented with the with martial powers is that if you are proficient with the weapon, you can automatically use the mastery, and then as your cantrips, quote unquote, you can prepare like topple. You can use topple with any weapon. You just know how to trip people as long as you're using a weapon you're proficient with, and you're automatically proficient with unarmed attacks. So if you know the topple mastery, you know how to topple people as part of an attack. Anyone can attempt to trip as an action. as a replacement action to their attack. But if you're like, if you know the topple cantrip, as it were, then you just know how to topple people in combat. While you're attacking them, you can set them up so that they get toppled as well. And that, I think, is a really great balancing point to cantrips in general. Cantrips allow casters to slow people, like with Ray of Frost. It slows their movement 10 feet. They know how to remove your ability to have opportunity attacks by hitting you with Shocking Grasp and denying you opportunity attacks. And they just get that as part of the cantrip that deals damage. And again, marshals weren't given that by wizards. So making masteries something that you can prepare as part of any weapon attack gives you those damage dice that casters get with their cantrips, and the kicker effect that casters get with their cantrip. Again, we're trying to bring the marshals more in line with the resources and power that full casters have. And I throw shade at wizards because I love 5e so much, and they take such small incremental steps. I get it. We've talked about this before. I understand why they do it. I understand how they are towing the line for the entire game system so that they don't want to rock the boat too much, but I also complain that they don't cook long enough to realize where they're actually at with the tools that they are proposing. And Masteries is another good example of, you kind of half-assed it because you were rushed. That was a tangent. I don't know why I was thinking about that, but I was. So I shared it with you. But I'm really, really happy with the martial power system. I think I'm very much looking forward to unleashing that upon the world. And over the past 8 years, I've come to realize that I can afford to take the time that I need to do what I need to make a book, an idea, concept work the way that I want it to. There is no, I'm not competing, I'm not racing somebody to a technological discovery. Like, people aren't thinking about the Bastion campaign. People aren't thinking about color mana. People aren't thinking about scaling combat mechanics from Spelljammer. It's like these are the way. This is the way that I think, and I'm discovering that most people don't think about things this way. And that's a bit of a brag flex, I admit. But it's also an assurance to myself that you aren't being rushed. There's no one competing with you in this space. And that allows me to approach these things relaxed, unguarded. There. Yeah, that feels pretty good. I think I'm content with that. So let's hit the save button there. I think we can actually call this done. So this piece is done. I'm content. Yeah, that's unique color, so that should pop on its own. I might decide to shunt the guard around a little bit, actually. Let's see if I can position him a little bit differently to make that spear stand out a little bit more. Cat. Perfect. All right, cool. Let's close shop on you, and we're going to be putting a structure map in here for the plot hooks. Yeah, let's call this one done for now. I mean, that we're still open on the page, but we're working on a bunch of pages, so I can hit save there. Now we can actually start working on the map. This is what we all came here for. Here's where we're at. So it's about 100 miles. Yeah, let's open up this map. This is the map that we made originally. It's rough, but yeah, it's about 100 miles. That is about 100 miles, so that's decent. But it's not the formatting. This is the actual Eberron map here that I picked up, and I'm dragging. Oh, that's right. We need to work on the page. Hold on. That's right. We have to go in and actually change the page. So let's go here to west. Let's go here. And what page are we looking at here? This is page. Oh, this is page 2. All right. Let's just go down to page 2. Adventure background. So what we want to do. What size is this? 24. And this is probably 20, and that means it's probably 16. Let's do this. Let's see if we can pull this off. Actually, I think 16 is more appropriate. Wow. Get out of here, scallywag. Because these don't have any added gap between them. So that's a good size to use. Got 1 page gap here. Like that. Yeah, it still fits on the page. This is going to work out as intended. Bar friggin' vo. Ho, ho, ho. Like that. And everyone else is sitting pretty now too. Cool. The Eye of Mavar. Let's do that. Let's do that. The Eye of Mavar. So the far east reaches of the Carnwood was once the location of the most powerful manifest zone on Karnath. in Karnath, connected to the plane of existence called Mabar, the Endless Night. Prior to the last war, an underground research facility dedicated to advancing necromantic understanding was built around the nexus of the Manifest Zone. After a catastrophic event depleted the region of planar energy, the facility was shut down, and details of its location was buried within the archives of Aether Academy. Aether Academy in Karnath is the foremost institution dedicated to necromancy in the Five Nations. The Academy holds, holding vast knowledge of the arcane arts, and its archives are full of exotic information, enchantment, and powerful artifacts. The Eye of Mabar. One artifact in particular is the Eye of Mabar. Sphere, blah, blah, blah. The Emerald Claw, Cult of Necromancers. The Eye of Mabar. Necromancers. The Ritual. And then Betrayal. Those are the four general themes. You got the Eye of Mabar, you've got the Necromancers, you've got the Ritual, and then you've got Betrayal. Betrayal is actually a double entendre that we're not really mentioning here, but the Necromancers all fucking hate each other. and that team of villains is self-destructing during this ritual, which the team can exploit as a diplomacy challenge if they don't want to fight them. And depending on which adventure hook you're using, there is opportunity for you to have access to different pieces of information that can make that diplomacy more or less successful, depending on how the team plays it. But it's an option. One of the main themes that we wanted to use in this adventure was that those different paths, that Jacqueline the dungeon, as it were. Of having an objective and having multiple paths to reach that objective, so that the team isn't it's less of a sandbox, because there is a goal that you're focused on, but it's also not railroading, because there's multiple tracks that you can run and jump between to switch tracks when you want to, for the team to arrive at the conclusions. Just the adventure, just the momentum of the adventure, the momentum of the adventure leads you to the story beats, but it doesn't really worry about how you get to each of those beats. There's a lot of space between the beats for you to play jazz, as it were, to have your 7/8 time or 15/16 time or 13/16 time, however you want to play your beats. You'll hit different beats throughout the adventure and arrive at the conclusion of the adventure naturally, where the team leads you to. And there's enough information inside this adventure to be able to lead you down those pathways using combat, exploration, or social interaction at different locations as you please. So it's designed to be very liquid with a flow downriver, but allowing you to be able to basically slalom ski and surf down to it any way that you choose. And I think there's enough information built in here, and from the feedback from the other DMs that have ran it, that's intuitive enough that they had no problem letting the team slalom their way to wherever it is that they wanted to end up at, and still all end up at the Nexus with the Necromancers at the end of it. So that's a huge success. And this is page 2, so I'm going to hit save here, because these are the little inserts that I wanted to include. So now we have accurate space, and look, we ate up that corner here. This was a very natural result. I love that every time that we need to make a change, the space on the page is accommodating and allowing us to do this. The 16:9 format is, well, technically it's 17, but the 17:10 page space that fills the monitor or your device, I'm falling in love with this design space. It's so big. There's so much space on a page. I'm actually pretty excited about it. I don't think I'm gonna build other books like the Bastion campaign and the Color Mana system. I don't think I'm gonna use this format. But if I start branching out into my own game system stuff, I'm really thinking about keeping this digital format. It's not friendly to print at all, but I can't paint in color. I can only paint digitally because I can't see color. So I can use digital tools, but I can't color correct print. So if I were to do print, it would have to be black and white. And honestly, I think I love this format too much. Yeah, it's going to have to follow my heart. I'm not there yet. It doesn't matter right now. I'll eventually get to that place. But I'm not there yet. So this page is done. So I'm going to export this page. So we're going to go again. I use Microsoft Word. I think it's an amazing program. And I have access to it already. So here we are. Let's go to Crystals in a Bar. Yeah, this is the right place. PDF. We're going to call this page 2. We're going to go to options. And we're going to go with current page 2. We have down here. We're going to get rid of properties and structure tags. Go with just the document without showing markup. And we're going to click OK. And then we're going to hit publish. And it'll spit out a PDF. There we go. So here you have one page. That's your page. You can zoom in, and it doesn't quite fill the space right because of the window at the top. But if I were to click, I think there should be a full screen option. Let me click that and make that go away. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, this top bit is still. There we go. There's our full screen. See, it's absolutely perfectly fills the screen. It's so good. There's no wiggle room. So this or your device here or a tablet, it's so. And then the font. This is a 12-point body font. This is a 16-point header font, subheader. And this is a 24-point font title, section title, and then like chapter. I think chapter's a 28 font. But this font is so big, it's so easy to read. I am really, really blind, and I think as the gaming audience gets older, they're also getting more blind. But this hobby, role playing, is such a great hobby for just sipping tea on your front porch. It's better than dominoes because it's just a conversation, and you can decide to roll dice or not. Depends on where you're at with your game, and it's just such a casual affair. It's such a great low cost. It's such an affordable hobby that it's something I'm looking forward to aging into. Okay, so now that we have, sorry. I'm rambling. Let me go ahead and close this down here. And let's go to File, Open, and then we go to Crystals in the Bar. And we can see here, page 2. We're going to open up page 2. We're going to click on that. We're going to open. We're going to copy all text. And then we're going to go back into here. And we're going to pull this out of the way. Here's our text layer. We're going to drop this in. We hit paste in place because this page here in the PDF here, a PSD file, the art file that we're doing is the exact same size as the page from the PDF, obviously, because we're building that book. So when I copy the entire page, like this entire frame, even though there's just little spots of text and there's a lot of blanks, it's transparent, right? And it's just the text. So if I copy the entire frame, I don't need this anymore, and then I paste in place on this document, it puts the text in the exact same position as it is for the PDF. So then I can reliably paint inside of this space and know that the end result is going to line up in Word when I drop it in as a background. Consistent, works every time. I've never dealt with a document this big though. So I'm a little intimidated about how big is this thing going to end up, like how many megabytes is this thing going to end up being? The answer is going to be a fuck ton. It's going to be big. So sorry, I'm scraggling myself here real quick as I'm refreshing my brain to move on to the next project. So now that we have the section titles put in place, we can now look realistically at what space here in this basically half page of space here. Well, yeah, it's about half a page. So this is about a half page ad space spanning 2 columns that we're going to fill with. I'm gonna go text here, and then I'm going to delete. Wait. Okay, never mind. There. Okay, everything's okay. Everything's fine. We're fine. Everything's fine. It's fine. But I do want to figure out how do I want to make this thing fit. Let's see. Contemplating the future. I need to emphasize the distance over here, but I just cleaved off some of that map space. So how do I need to, I guess I need to back down the size of the page. There's not a lot of stuff in here. It's really important though. And maybe if I give it a tilt. No, I don't think I want to do that. I think I want to keep north to help keep it simple, not too confusing. Ader Academy away, Bastion there. I can drop this down like this. Maybe if I drop down here, I bring this over here. Ader Academy is mentioned first here, so I want to have it on the map. Ader there, and then Bastion here, and then town here. I'm gonna put a lock on this. Thank you. That seems to fit okay. And so the village is here, and I mean, in all honesty, like the facility is like here. And that's just feels crowded, you know? It's crowded on the page. So I'm trying to adjust positions here so that and then we have like all this open space here that we're not really doing anything with. I can put label. I can just use the text here, like this 16-point font. I can just drop in here as Fort Bastion, and Ader Academy, and the Village Peace, and the Ritual Nexus. I can have good, clear labels. We have plenty of space for those labels. So this is actually really good that we have this much space, because it's going to make it very easy for us to drop in labels. It's just I have this huge empty space. I just don't feel like I need to. Maybe I'm approaching this wrong. Maybe I need to have this line betrayal here. Maybe I just need to have it here instead. And so I don't have to worry about this big open blank space. It becomes irrelevant. Let's try that. So we're going to take the text layer and bring it to the front. We're going to recede this here further. This is the glory of having complete control over both the art, the cartography, and the text of the document, like all working together at the same time. It allows me this freedom. So I'm going to just grab this, bring that over here to line up with this here. See that the edge of that W lines up with the edge of that T? That lets me know I'm in the right position. I can scroll down, and I know I want to skip 2 lines. I'm going to skip 1 line and then another line, so it's about there. I only have to skip 1 line, so that should line up. That's too thin. Let's do like these punto. There, that should be good. So if we're gonna block things, let's just give it a little bit more space. So if we're gonna block things together like this, merge down. Let's see if we can add in a block here, a masking layer, to be sure the text isn't molested and that we have a clear space for the map to sit here. And we can do the same fade trick that we have on the previous page, on the last page that we're working on, that faded that blended out edge, blah. Yeah. That should work. Something roughly like this. I don't need to obsess over this too much, but I want to obsess over it at least a little bit. Now I want to make that independent of the map moving underneath it. So can we zoom in to fill the space up a little bit better? So that's not so bad. That's really not bad at all. Aider, Bastion, Village Peace, Manifest Zone. I kind of like that. This might work. This just might work. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, this is actually going to work. Holy crap. All right, let's do this. Merge down. Cut, paste, free transform. Boom. Boom, boom, boom. About 100 miles away. One, two, 25, 50, 75, 100. That feels about right for the size of those inappropriately proportioned dots. Probably want to take those down a few notches. No, fuck it. We just leave them big like that. That's actually really cool. Like a really nice zoomed in map. I'm actually really happy with this. We can have like Karnath here. We have Aider, Bastion, Village Peace, Manifest Zone, Karnwood here, Nexus, Village Peace, Bastion, Aider, Karnath. I think that's gonna work. That should work. So let's we're going to use the rights that we have in the DM's Guild to reproduce content that's approved by the DM's Guild, which includes the world of Eberron in general, which means that I can freely copy this map without feeling guilty about freely copying this map. So that is what we are going to do. First, we're going to start off with just black lines. Our objective in this endeavor is to create the significant objects, or the different points of interest that we need for the map. We're gonna trace, of course, we're just gonna trace the significant features so that the geography is accurate. There's no real sense freehanding this. .10 font. I specifically want to replicate these icons, because these are the icons that are actually on the map of Karnath for the Eberron campaign setting. So I want to duplicate them, which is why I want to how big is this? That is 200. So let's create an eraser that's 180, 175, 150. How are you looking? Looking pretty good. 150. Maybe it's actually maybe it's 160. Thank you, Timely Timer. Pretty good. Icons, tree line. Village Peace only deserves a dot. Oh, this is a major building. So if it's got a dot, if it's just a dot, it's a village. If it's got just a circle, it's a town. If it's got a dot inside of a circle, it's a city or metropolis. And if it's the capital, instead of a dot, it has a star. Fortresses have squares. And then points of interest would have a diamond. About like that. Let's be ironic. Let's put it about there. Good. And then let's copy, paste, merge down, free transform. Yeah, this is bringing in a touch. So about there. That feels pretty good. Carnwood. Those fonts are way too big. I would say 24-point font for the Carnwood, 16-point font for Aether, Bastion. Actually, 20-point font should do pretty well because it'll have capitals. Yeah. 28-point font for Karnath, 24-point font for Carnwood, 16-point font with capital for Aether, Bastion, Village, Peace, and Nexus. We can just use the colors from the actual map to fill in. Yeah, we'll just use the same color format that they're using. So let's just make sure we have everything fleshed out. Icons, it's gonna be tree line. Let's add in features like the road. You. Let's actually fill those in with goodness. Like I said, we'll go till 9 o'clock this morning, and then we'll stop. And then we'll be back at probably 5:30 is probably realistic. 5:30 to continue the color mana conversion for druids, and we should be able to get through druids tonight, and then get into clerics and see how far through clerics we can get. Yeah, this should all work. Oh my god, it's almost 9. Okay, well, I mean, hey, there's that. So let's just do what we do. Icons. I like where we're at though. This is a good space. Icons. We are in a really, really good space. River. Road. Meh. I watched The Pit on HBO over the weekend, and holy crap, that's a great show. Actually, I actually watched most of it last week, but then it was like 14 episodes, so I couldn't eat it all in one sitting. Too much binge. I had to binge that over 2 weekends. But holy crap, it was worth it. Great show. Yeah, I'm good with that. And got a mountain range that's completely irrelevant for the adventure. That's barely relevant. This path here is barely relevant. We need what we need is a dotted line. Doesn't seem like those dots are getting longer. Dashes, I mean. I don't think those dashes are getting longer, so we should be okay. I do want them to be curved, though. I don't need to worry about a dotted path beyond that. Doesn't really matter. I mean, I guess we could. Sure. To, you know, imply that this isn't the end of the road. This isn't the furthest out. It's not that centric. Alright, cool. Dotted line. Looks pretty good. Got no actual complaints about that. Maybe we'll end up fading that down to something less. But road, path, yeah. So we'll drop this out of the way. This doesn't look bad. This doesn't look bad at all. This is gonna work. Wow, yeah, this is gonna completely work out. There's plenty of open space. Holy shit. This is gonna work. All right, we're gonna go ahead and put the brakes on this for today. When we come back tomorrow, we're gonna drop in forest color, general terrain color. I can de-emphasize the mountains, but we'll probably put like some mountain icons in here just for the lulz. But so we need green for the forest. We just need whatever color that is for the fields, what we're going to use. We're just going to use the map colors from the actual Eberron map to make this consistent with what the audience will anticipate from having looked at the Eberron map already, be able to say that's where we're at. I have generous space here for Karnath, Carnwood, Nexus, Village Peace, Fort Bastion, Ader. Bastion, Ader, good to go. And then we'll move on to the next page. So this stuff shouldn't take that long. We should have this, and then maybe we'll flesh out the rest of the space so that it's a squarish map that the DM can actually share. But we're building the frame. This is the important part, and then we can remove the text and then fill in the rest of the bits with it. I'm excited, guys. This is looking good. This is looking really good. I am very, very happy. So, yep, we'll pick up here tomorrow. I'll be back tonight in 5:30, which will be 8.5 hours from now. We'll be back. We'll work on the color mana spell point variant rules for Druid and Cleric 2024, and we'll see where that takes us. We'll be back here tomorrow morning for this. So if you think today's cool, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon for notifications, what you see in the future. I stream 5 days a week in the morning doing artwork and page design like this, and then Mondays, Thursday nights, Tuesday, Friday lunch, I do game design, and you'll see that tonight. So see you guys later. Thanks a lot. Bye.